Welcome to the video. In this video I'd like to show you the new lens option that's available on the RunCam II. We've just ordered one of the very latest ones here, the ones that come with a field of view of 170 degrees, and we've been testing it out over the last couple of weeks. So I wanted to share some of that footage and also show you the difference between the previous lens that was available, the 120 degree lens that we've been using without any problems, so that if you're thinking of maybe trying one of these out, you can actually see the differences. So first of all, we'll have a quick chat about the camera for those of you that might be completely new to RunCam who haven't seen any of our other videos. Then we'll have a quick look through the specs. Not going to dwell too much on all of that. Then we'll look at the comparison video between the new lens and the 120 degree lens that's been available for a while. And finally, a little bit of footage of this thing flying around on top of a quadcopter. Now, everybody has their own favourites when it comes to action cameras, and this is one of ours for a couple of reasons. First of all, it isn't particularly expensive. At the moment, this one is selling for about £65. It also is nice and bright orange. That doesn't half help when it gets ejected into the grass. We've lost the odd Mobius and other cameras in the past, and having a nice orange camera at least gives me a fighting chance of trying to find it when you have one of those difficult landings. And finally, the video quality is really nice as well. The saturation, the way it works, is really nice. Now, this camera is identical to the previous version with the exception of a couple of things. The first, of course, is that the new field of view lens is available. So it's gone from 120 to 170 degrees, and the bezel around the lens has been adjusted as well. And that's been designed to get rid of some of the artifacts that you occasionally get in the lenses when you are flying in a really bright day and you've got the sunshine coming in. So very quickly to cover the specs for those of you that may not have used a RunCam before, it's high definition. It'll do 180p at 60 frames a second, reasonably low latency for both 1080p and 720p as well. You could use this for a primary FPV camera. We don't tend to. On something like a larger plane where the speed of movement isn't going to be particularly quick, then you could probably get away with it. We tend to use it, as we were looking at the beginning of the video, where we tend to fly with a dedicated FPV camera underneath and one of these guys strapped to the top. And that's the other reason that we quite like these, and because of the low profile, you can stick them on top of things like planes and other models as well, without it being a big lump in the way of all the airflow. It has built-in Wi-Fi, so you can connect it up to your Android or Apple device and control it from there. Has a changeable battery inside, which is really nice, but to be honest, we've never got to the point yet where we've completely run one down in a day. That's because we tend to turn them on, do the flight, and when we land we turn them back off. And you can charge it from a USB port. It's one of those little micro USB slots. You just plug it in the back and you're good to go. The contents of the box are the same as what you'd get normally. You get the camera, you get a couple of adapters in terms of mounting, a little USB cable, some Velcro ties, tether, and some other cables, as well as a little manual too. But the real thing that we're all interested in is what is the actual difference between the original 120 degree lens and the new 170 degree lens. And to answer that question, we've shot this video where we've got the two cameras side by side and we're walking around on a pretty average day just to see how they both perform. In terms of the performance and the way they're handling the light, the dynamic range, the saturation, they're very, very similar. But up here on this little bridge over the canal, as I pan about, you can see you're getting a little bit more real estate. You can see a little bit side to side and both up and down as well. The easiest way to show what this looks like and how much extra view you're getting out of the lens with the camera is to take a snapshot from each of these videos and pop them one over the other. So here you can see how much additional view you're actually getting with a 170 degree lens. And although it doesn't seem a lot in the diagram, when you're actually watching back, it feels like a much more panoramic, immersive view. And it's closer to a lot of the higher end action cameras. And I'm guessing that's why RunCam have introduced this new wider lens to the range. And finally, let me show you some footage of this thing in flight. Here we are flying in Yorkshire on a very overcast day, some really tricky conditions, and I'm actually chasing one of my friend's planes. This is one of the Tundras that he was flying on the day, and I've got this RunCam that we've been looking at attached to the top filming the view while I'm looking out of the FPV camera underneath. As you can see, the image is very, very nice. Saturation, colour and everything has been handled very well, and that extra field of view actually feels really natural, particularly for those of you that are using a more expensive camera that are used to having that very, very wide field of view. So hopefully that helps those of you that are interested in maybe trying one of these out. You can now see the differences between this and the previous cameras. In terms of the functionality and the way it performs, it's pretty much the same camera. The only differences here are the increased field of view with the new lens and the new lens hood as well to help with FPV and lens flare. Thank you for taking the time to watch that video. There are lots of other videos on the channel and they're carefully ordered into playlists, so you may find that there are other videos on this same subject that you can go and watch. So I would recommend going into the playlist area of Painless 360 YouTube channel and looking around and seeing what there is. You never know what you might find. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and happy flying.